Well, Governor Andrew Cuomo, he's still denying the sexual harassment allegations of 11 women, even after the explosive Attorney General report came out on Tuesday. Calls for him to resign have grown stronger around the country, but he refuses to step down. Let's bring in New York State Senator Jim Tedisco. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Cuomo previously tweeted out in 2013 saying that, if we want to get to the tweet, saying that there should be a zero tolerance policy when it comes to sexual harassment, and it must send a clear message that this behavior is not tolerated. Now, in 2018, he also said, in New York, we will not waver and will not back down. To Dr. Blasey Ford and all survivors of sexual assault, we believe you and we will fight for you. And that's in reference to Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation. Sir, what do you think of what he said then versus what he's accused of doing?
He's always been a good governor, talking the talk, but he's never walked the walk in New York State. The only good news right now is we are on the verge of doing what we should have done 8 to 9 months ago. I called for it. Several of my colleagues followed suit and called for it, and that was resignation. But I don't think we should allow him to resign right now. If this governor resigns, he can still run for office. Andrew Cuomo should never run or be able to be in office, not only in New York State, but anywhere in this nation or in the world with the toxic environment he has created. So the good news right now is we are on the verge, because of the AG's report, of ending this long New York nightmare. The AG did a great job in this investigation. She was thorough, she was open, she was transparent, it was professional, and everything the governor said, when you talk about talking the talk and walking the walk, has been refuted by the facts. 170 interviews with individuals, thousands of documents. He was not only refuted, but those 11 courageous women were validated by what they said. It was a toxic environment. It continues to be a toxic environment. And how do we change this whole thing? Well, first of all, I've said to the governor, and I hope my colleagues will say to him, you know, he's got this thing where he says he's New York strong. Well, this governor has never been New York strong. He has been what I would call New York wrong, and now he's got to be New York gone. And we are on the verge of being able to do that if my colleagues in the progressive majority of the Democrats on the Judiciary Committee, next Monday, this Monday coming up, they meet. Yeah. They have the ability to start the process that the Constitution states has to begin, so it can get over to the Senate and we can have the trial. Let's send them documents of impeachment. It would go over to the Senate after that, 63 senators in the Court of Appeals jurists, 7 of those, and we can, by 2/3 vote, eliminate this man, send him packing, and make sure this toxic environment is removed from the state of New York. The taxpayers are owed that right now.
Yeah.
Think about the fact it was not only those women who came forth before. We found out that the person, a woman, a state trooper, who was protecting him, needed protection from him because he sexually harassed her. That is a tremendous disappointment to all the constituents I represent, and it should be to my colleagues on both sides of the aisle. And it is, as you know. The chairman of his party, Jake, is calling for his resignation.
Yeah,
the president of the United States is calling for that. But he needs to be impeached, and he needs to be impeached yesterday.
Do you think he's going to resign? Because we talk about impeachment, but a lot of people are wondering if he's just going to stay with it and then try and go and be impeached. I mean, he's going to have the impeachment charges against him, as you said. But do you think he'll resign? Do you think we'll hear from him?
Here's what I think is going to happen. This individual is very arrogant. He could be classified as a psychopath. I think what's going to happen, they're going to have to impeach now. They're going to get a spine, I hope, right now. They're going to get a backbone. And when they begin the impeachment process in the Assembly, which is the start of it, I believe before it gets over to us in the Senate, I believe then he will resign. I think we should continue the impeachment because if he resigns, he can run again. I don't ever want to see this governor in any elected position ever again. No group of constituents should have to face, or these women should have to face. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. 15,000 of our most vulnerable population lost their life.
Right.
There's investigations taking place with that, and he's got to pay his due for that.
Yeah.
As you know, the Attorney General said he broke state laws and he broke federal laws. So this is going to be a criminal, not only a civil action being taken place.
Sir, unfortunately, we have to cut our time, but as you mentioned, the nursing home scandal as well. We thank you so much, Senator Jim Tedisco, for joining us, and we'd love to have you back. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.